Durant, and Trustee Secretary Kyla He. Leanne is serving as a committee meeting recording secretary, and Kyla is serving as a committee technology and information specialist. Leanne, please take the roll.
Trustee Ahuna is excused. Vice Chair Haka.
Ill.
Trustee Aquino.
Aloha mai kako.
Trustee Alapa. Present. Trustee Kahele.
Present.
Trustee Lindsay. Not present. Trustee Souza.
Yo.
Trustee Waihe'e. Chair Galutaria.
Yo.
We have 5 present.
All right, we've got enough to do business. So let's get down to it. This meeting is being conducted in compliance with HRS Chapter 92, Sunshine Law, and the OHA bylaws. It is viewable live stream at www.oha.org/livestream and available for in-person attendance at the Mauli ʻŌlelo boardroom here in Honolulu. Pursuant to Article 12 of our bylaws and Robert's Rules of Order for Small Boards, Section 4121, we will observe the following procedures. Trustees must be recognized by the chair before speaking. Motions do not require a second. The chair may participate fully in debate and vote on all matters. Informal discussion is permitted while no motion is pending. So everyone, please observe order and decorum per Article 17 of the bylaws. At this time, I'd like to ask our COO, I'd like to also acknowledge our interim CEO, Summer Silva. Aloha. And I'd like to call to the table our COO, Keishan Kikina, who will introduce the staff, and then we'll proceed with the presentations. Hello. Oh, by the way, nice shirt.
Aloha, Trustee. Aloha kakayaka kako. Aloha, Chair. I'm a Vice Chair. Today we have with us from administration our Investment Director and Interim CFO, Ryan Lee. We have our General Counsel, Everett Ota, Senior Director of Hawaiian Cultural Affairs, Hailama Fardin. We have our Director of Education and Culture-Based Learning, Ku'ule Anuhea Avo-chan. We have our Director of Research and Evaluation, Carla Hostetter. Our Research Systems Manager, Kale Hanas. Director of Community Engagement, Lisa Von Sekona. Senior IT Systems Engineer and Administrator, Kevin Chalk. IT Systems Engineer and Administrator, Daniel Santos. And as you mentioned, Trustee, we do have our interim CEO, Summer Silva.
Thank you very much.
Mahalo.
Appreciate it. All right. Board, we have a committee. We have 2 sets of minutes to approve today. April 20th. Pardon me? We got April over here. Stand by. Don't see the agenda.
According to the
Okay.
board packet, it says.
Okay, got it. According to the agenda, it's August 20th and September 17th. So before we move on, I would like to acknowledge the following corrections having been made to the minutes and posted for approval today. The August 20th, 2025 misspelling of excused on page 10, that has been corrected. And September 17th, 2025, the link to the YouTube recording of the meeting on page 1 of the minutes has been corrected. Leanne, do we have any public testimony on either of these items?
No testimonies.
Okay, may I have a motion on item A, August 20th, 2025, as amended?
Mr. Chair, I so move.
Thank you. Mahalo, Trustee. Roll call, please.
Trustee Akaka.
Aye.
Trustee Aquino.
Aye.
Trustee Alapa is not present. Trustee Kahele.
Aye.
Trustee Lindsay is not present. Trustee Souza.
Aye.
Trustee Wahehe,
Yes.
Chair Galataria.
Aye.
6 yes votes.
Mahalo. Members, may I have a motion on item B, September 17th, 2025, as amended? Mahalo, trustee. Roll call, please.
Vice Chair Haka,
Aye.
Trustee Akina,
Aye.
Trustee Alapa, not present. Trustee Kahele,
Aye.
Trustee Souza, Trustee Wahehe,
Yes.
Trustee Galataria, Chair Galataria.
Aye.
Trustee Ahuna is excused. Trustees Alapa and Lindsay are not present. You have 6 votes.
Very good. Mahalo. Mahalo, trustees. Okay, we'll now proceed to new business. We have 4 presentations by the administration. Before starting, we will receive public testimony for all 4 items. Leanne, do we have any testimony in person or online for any of these 4 items?
No testimonies, Chair.
Okay, mahalo. Summer, okay, Sean, do you folks want to introduce our presentations or shall we just proceed? Okay. I will note that the online agenda is missing a number of the presentations on Native Hawaiian Data Book Redesign. It's unnumbered. Therefore, I'm asking for unanimous consent to amend the agenda to mark that as number 3 and the next in line to be number 4. Are there any objections, members? Okay. There being none, the agenda is amended accordingly. We will now take up the first item on the agenda under new business. Our first item is A1, Awaiaulu Program Activity Grant to provide fellowships in ʻŌlelo Hawaii translation, expand public access to Hawaiian knowledge, and support OHA's historical research activities. So please proceed. Come up to the table, introduce yourselves, and we'll go from there, okay? Yeah, Carla, sit on that one. There you go. Hey, aloha. Yeah, you got to turn on your mic. Yeah.
Thank you. Aloha, trustees. Mahalo nui for this opportunity to share our exciting new project. So this project is a new partnership that was approved by the board in our as a board-directed grant to the nonprofit of Awaiaulu for the 26 and 27 budget. Today, I'm just going to provide the brief overview, including our implementation plan and current updates, and receive any input from trustees before we move towards contracting. The Awaiaulu grant will be led by myself, as one of the deliverables is research related, and I'm going to be working in close collaboration with our community engagement grants program. As provided in the, or as approved in the budget proviso language and during board discussion, the OHA grant will support Awaiaulu program activities, including expanding access to Native Hawaiian language or Native Hawaiian knowledge, expanding access and training emerging leaders, formalizing succession planning, and then supporting OHA's historical research activities. This grant is going to be implemented in alignment with NEMO Strategic Outcome 4.1. That's the preservation, perpetuation of Hawaiian language, culture, traditions, and identity, and sense of lahui. The community, thank you. So the community need here is clear. We know that Native Hawaiians of the 19th century documented in detail their past, their ever-changing present, and their people's knowledge in newspapers, documents, and manuscripts in their native language. At the turn of the 20th century, Hawaii was drawn into an English-speaking world, and this unique archive in Hawaiian language was left behind. Our implementation strategy includes contracting Awaiaulu through OHA's standard grant-making process, as outlined in Chapter 1017, and using our OHA Grants portal. But we are going to do a streamlined application and reporting process, as this grantee was pre-selected by the board. The budget appropriation for this work was $250,000 in fiscal 26 and $250,000 in 27. So this will be paid out through one upfront payment, and then the subsequent payments will be through cost reimbursement in alignment with our standard grant payment processes. The staffing is going to include myself at this time for the deliverable oversight for the research related deliverable until we hire our new digital archive systems administrator, at which point the work will be handed off to oversee those deliverables. Of course, we're going to be working with the support of our community engagement director, our grants manager, and the grant supervisor. For our timeline, in Q1, R&E met with Corp Counsel, grants, procurement, and our senior director of Hawaiian Knowledge, or Hawaiian Affairs, sorry, to determine the funding processes for this grant. The grant program also streamlined their application process. Then R&E grants and Awaiaulu met to review the scope, our OHA grant processes, and finally Awaiaulu completed their application, which was submitted on September 24th. Currently, the application is under the grant program review for compliance with 1017 and all the grant-related policies. Our next step in Q2 is going to be to sign and execute the contract. The contract is going to be for a 2-year period, so that'll take us to Q2 of fiscal 28, at which point we're going to complete the final grant assessment and close the grant. We also, wanted to share a little bit more about the scope. Sorry, it's not advancing. Oh, there we go. We wanted to share a little bit more about the scope of the project. As presented to the board, OHA grant funds are going to be used to present Awaiaulu program activities, or including the fellowships. The fellows are going to be selected by Awaiaulu, which are going to include 11 young professionals who already have a high level of fluency in Hawaiian language and a strong service ethic. The fellows will be provided extensive translation experience for 10 hours per week for a 2-year commitment. The training is going to include mentoring to understand the content of the Hawaiian Language Archive. They'll also be progressively building the fellows' skill set as resources for others and developing the network of expert researcher, consultants, and translators. They're going to be, there's kind of 3 categories of trainings, which you can see listed here. There's also going to be products that result from this grant. So those will include historical materials translated from Hawaiian to English to become bilingual knowledge assets for today's public. The OHA funding is going to be used to directly support the stipends for these fellows for 10 hours of work per week. And then per the chair's suggestion during our briefing, one deliverable is going to be for OHA fellowship support. So that'll include 10 hours per month of fellowship support for OHA. And Awaiaulu has actually offered to bank those hours. So if they're not used in a particular month, we're going to be able to roll those forward and use them throughout the grant period. The process for this deliverable will be that R&E will request the fellows consultation based on our project needs. Those projects could also be funneled from other PAIA, from trustees, from admin leadership, but R&E will act as the point of contact. Awaiaulu will then select the appropriate fellow for that project based on their expertise and availability, and R&E will track the requested and completed hours. For the next steps in this process, we plan to sign and execute the contract that'll include all of the detailed definitions of the performance measures, the deliverables, the data collection, and the reporting. And then we're also, of course, excited to move forward with the recruitment, hiring, and onboarding of our new digital archive system administrator who will be overseeing the work. The risks for this project are not so much related to the grant itself, but the handoff of the oversight could be delayed if we hit any unforeseen delays in our hiring process. And then the next steps from the board are just going to be to provide any feedback or input on the scope that I've outlined here today. And then we'll move into our contracting. Awaiaulu did share that they would be more than happy to provide a more detailed description of their work once we get the contract finalized. Any questions or feedback on the scope for that project?
Trustees, any discussion, any questions?
Chair.
Well, I'm sorry, Trustee Akina.
Thank you very much. This is a very exciting project,
Yes.
and I'm glad we picked up on it after the presentation. What is in mind for long-term perpetuation of the research and the translation? And this is a 2-year project.
Mm-hmm.
Are we thinking of further support, or
I think that'll be up to them to propose to the board in the next budget period, but I know their plans are to get these fellows trained up to a point where they'll be able to move into leadership positions. Yeah, so it's kind of creating the next cohort of experts in Hawaiian language translation.
and that's what I wanted to hear.
Yeah.
cohort.
Yes.
So it's not just 10 individuals, which is wonderful in itself, but groups of 10 or more as the years go on. That's exciting.
Trustee Akita, Paul? Okay. Trustee Kelly, Chair.
Just to piggyback on Trustee Akina's question, if I'm not mistaken, when Puakea came and briefed us on the program, I think it was a 5-year program is what they were proposing, and a capital campaign to build out the 5-year work that they were intending to do. So, obviously we could only support them for the next biennium, but I think hopefully our resources and the financial commitment that we've made to support their efforts for the next 2 years prove very impactful, and then the board in the next biennium can look at the results of that and consider further supporting. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments, trustees? We want to ensure that there's proper intersection between existing programs that we have, like we just mentioned, up and coming programs that, we're going to be harvesting young Hawaiian professionals. And we have young programs like Aha'opio as well, that's going to start to prepare them for this type of program in the next phase of their lives. So we want to just bear that in mind, get on record that we want to encourage.
Engage between the programs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, put it all together. Kali, are you here for the next one or this one or? Next one, okay.
Yeah.
Trustees, anything else, any comments, any questions about Awaiaulu? Okay, thank you, Carla. Mahalo. Let's go to the next item, A2, the Papakilo Collection acquisitions from Awaiaulu, from ʻIolani Palace and the Bishop Museum, and get an update, Carla. Oh, Carla?
Yeah.
Okay, please.
Awesome. Thanks so much. So the next update we wanted to provide to you today is on the Papakilo acquisitions, which is why Kale is here to support me if you folks have any more detailed question on the acquisition process. So again, I'm just going to provide a brief overview of our implementation plan and current updates. So currently our Papakilo collections acquisition work is led by Kale Hannes, our research systems manager, and myself as the PIA director. We're also engaging in close collaboration, as always, with our procurement program and our court counsel for contracting, and then with our communications PIA for the launch of any new collections. The current partners that we're looking at acquiring collections from, again, include Awaiaulu for a contract pulling from our fiscal 25 funds. Also Friends of ʻIolani Palace, again, for a contract that's pulling from our fiscal 25 funds, and then Bishop Museum, which will pull funds from our fiscal 26 Papakilo budget. I also want to mention that we do have additional funds in our 26 budget for another Awaiaulu collection, but we'll present on that at a later date when we have the full proposal in hand. The process that we use to acquire new collections to make public on Papakilo is the purchasing of non-exclusive licenses to disseminate our partners' digital collections. As always, this work is in alignment with our MIMO strategic outcome 4.1, preservation, perpetuation of Hawaiian language, culture, traditions, identity, and sense of lahui. Our implementation strategy includes first negotiating with our partner organizations on which digital archives and collections we will acquire. These discussions are based on the partner's need to digitize their collection and on the value of the public access to the collection. We then move to execute our non-exclusive license agreements via our procurement process exemption for research reference materials published in print, video, audio, and electric form. After the agreement is signed by all parties, the partner agency will move forward using the OHA funds to digitize, index, and then data mine all of the records necessary in the collection. Once completed, those deliverables are transferred to OHA's research systems. We review, reformat, validate the metadata, and then build out the Papakilo database as needed. We then conduct a batch upload to efficiently ingest the new collection, resolving any issues or errors that emerge, and then assign permission. In the last stage of the work, we work with our comms PIA to develop materials to announce the online launch of the new collection. Our Papakilo appropriations for the two fiscal 25 collections include the 70,000 in total, so that's 20 allocated for ʻIolani and then 50,000 allocated for the Awaiaulu collections. In fiscal 26, we also have a budget of 180,000 with 100,000 allocated for our Bishop Museum collections. Our staffing for this work is going to include our new digital archive systems administrator once they're recruited, hired, and onboarded, our research systems manager, of course, and myself as the director. We'll also get support from our procurement team, our manager, and procurement officers. Thank you. As this is ongoing operational work, you'll see that each collection is on a slightly different timeline, which you can see outlined here. I just wanted to highlight for you those two collections that are pulling out of our 25 budget. So ʻIolani and Awaiaulu, they were on hold to be executed in fiscal 26 as additional legal research was needed to explore the emerging issues around the intellectual property rights. But it appears that all of that work has been completed and the language is now being finalized for the contracts between our Corp Counsel, procurement, and our partners. I also wanted to share a little bit about the collections that we're hoping to acquire for Papakilo. So just to start with ʻIolani Palace collections, that includes approximately 600 archival records. That's going to include the ali'i and government official letters during the Hawaiian monarchy and then post-overthrow. ʻIolani Palace documents such as calling cards, scrapbooks, ball invitation, dance cards, and musical programs, maps. There's approximately 50 newspapers, 300 historical photographs from the 19th and earliest 20th century, all related to the Hawaiian monarchy, ʻIolani Palace, and the people of Hawaii. Finally, there's about 550 ethnographic cultural resources as well. And then for our Bishop Museum collections, that includes about 683 manuscripts from the archaeological collection to complement the archaeological manuscript index that was previously transferred to OHA. With the fiscal 26 funds, Papakilo should be able to acquire licenses for about 2/3 of that total collection, so around 450 records. Finally, Awaiaulu collection, we're intending to acquire over 10,000 pages of historical documents from key institutions across the country, including the Library of Congress, Smithsonian Institute, and the National Archives. And those records include primary materials relevant to Hawaiian history, culture, like our newspapers, manuscripts, journals, photographs, and government documents. So for the next steps in this process, we plan to sign and execute those contracts, which will detail all of the records that are included in the collections. Again, we'll have the hiring and onboarding of our digital archive system administrator, which will impact the work as they'll be overseeing the operational work. The risks, again, are just if we hit any unforeseen delays in our procurement process, in the contract language between the partners and procurement, and our hiring process. And then the next steps for the board are just to provide any feedback or questions you have on the scope before we move into executing those contracts.
Okay, trustees, any discussion or questions on this matter? So, anybody? No? I have a question or somewhat of an inquiry. Do we have outreach to Ohana or individuals or other entities that may have items of interest for this collection?
Mahalo for the question, Chair. It's a great question. We actually address that through providing access to Hale Noelo, which is our digital tech center downstairs where Lucy, Meyer, and myself reside. And we, by appointment only, people can come in and digitize their personal collections. We teach them how to do the digitization, and then we provide them with a jump drive or a thumb drive as a copy for them to disseminate out and preserve. We don't ask for a copy of what they digitize in return. It's a free service that we provide. And the goal is to increase awareness and knowledge of how to digitize your personal collections. Additionally, through our genealogy workshops, when we discuss about primary, secondary documents and building your genealogy, we encourage people to digitize just on their own through taking a picture with their camera and storing it in some sort of cloud-based storage system. So those are some of the ways that we've been doing outreach or including educating our lahui, our beneficiaries, the attendees of our workshops, and visitors to Halinoelo about the importance of digitization. As you well know, that was very significantly magnified when we were able to work with Lahaina Restoration Foundation, which ended up losing everything. But through our agreement with them, they were able to preserve digital copies of everything else. So we use that as an example and to really impress upon individuals, organizations about really digitizing, even if it's just taking a picture with your phone. Mahalo.
So follow up. So do we need to increase or make our, use our communications division to amp up the messaging for this so we can get it out to the general public?
I think that would be a great thing that we could do once we have more staff on board, because we don't want to move forward and not have enough staff to be able to handle the response.
And is there a requirement for access to this knowledge that we're sharing? Do they have to be a member of the registry or?
No, people would just need to make an appointment to come and visit myself or Lucy at Halinoelo. The appointment information is on our OHA website on the Halinoelo page. And I think that once we bring on somebody else for our digital systems manager, we'll be able to kind of really push that agenda a lot more and promote the fact that that the community, our lahui, should be digitizing.
Okay. Well, once we get to that point, let's amp it up in terms of getting the word
Of
out.
course, I look forward to that.
Okay. You'll have to determine that.
Mahalo.
Okay. Yeah, Chekahele.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment. I was doing some research on the Papakilo page, and I was looking for the Keʻelikōlani newspapers that Joseph Navahi and others wrote, and I was amazed at how quickly I found it, and was able to read like volume 1, first edition that was published by Navahi and others in I want to say it was before the overthrow, if I'm not mistaken, a few years before. And I was able to bring it up and download it. And of course, it's all in ʻŌlelo Hawaii, and you can highlight a column and drop it into AI and immediately translate it. It was amazing to be able to read that.
Yes.
What a incredible resource that we have. And it was very, very easy.
Our kupuna left a lot of ho'ailona and makana for us.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are located in the new pepa. And I believe it was some sort of Chinese saying that even the faintest ink is better than the best memory.
Yeah.
And so one of the beautiful things about the new pepa is that it was spans from 1834 to 1942. Unlike newspapers as we know now, where they have a hired staff and so on, our newspapers were populated by our lahui. So people were writing in, and so you get stories of these beautiful mo'okua, how these genealogy, tying people to, the land, tying people to na'akua, or tying people to ali'i even. You'd have stories and songs published. You'd have debates going on within the newspapers, and you'd even have people complaining about how they couldn't sleep the night before because next door had one big party. But if you think about it, that's social media. We're doing that back in the 1800s.
And I went to look at editions that I thought would have really important information. So about maybe, I don't know, early August 1898, just before annexation.
Yes.
I wanted to see what was published just before that moment, and then also just prior to the overthrow. I went to look at that, and now you have AI and ChatGPT and other AI resources that can allow you to translate, and it's not maybe exactly how our kumu would teach it at our colleges of Hawaiian language throughout our University of Hawaii, but it gets you close to be able to instantly translate a column written by an author. And you know, that's something that just a few years ago we didn't have. So
Definitely.
yeah, great work.
Mahalo.
And really excited to see how the next phase is gonna turn out.
I
And more people had been added to your team. That's great news that you have more people
I
coming.
would like to add a lot of our success falls upon the partnerships that we've been able to create. You know, so a lot of the new PEPA is provided by Awaiaulu and Ho'olaupa'i and Bishop Museum and Ulukau. And that's just for the new PEPA. We have almost 20 partners from different various archives, from the state archives to Bishop Museum and smaller archives like Hula Preservation Society. So it's all a matter of connecting and building these relationships where we assist them to get their information out, help them preserve their information to be accessed by everybody outside of the people that can just walk through their brick and mortar.
Yeah.
So, mahalo.
Mahalo.
Yeah, mahalo. You know, as you were talking, it just flashed on in my mind that this wealth of content is a direct result of being the most literate people on the face of the earth at the time. And so I'm so glad that we're doing this.
Definitely. And especially in the 1800s, we were one of the most literate countries in the world. And as a result of that, and as a result of continuous funding and stewardship by OHA, we can honestly say Papakilo is the largest Waihona repository of Hawaiian ike in the world. We have over 1.2 million records. And so we look forward to building that number and continuing that motivation for preservation and providing access to our ike from our kupuna.
Good, that's impressive. So just continue to continue. Are we done with this? Any other questions, members? Done? Okay, mahalo. Let's move on to item A3, the Native Hawaiian Data Book redesign. Is that you, Carla?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, last one, guys.
No problem. Go ahead.
Okay, so finally today, we're just going to do a brief overview of the implementation plan to modernize and update our Native Hawaiian data book. So as a reminder, the board approved this proviso to contract a vendor to redesign our Native Hawaiian data book, including the assessment of the current platform, stakeholder and user consultation, and then testing and implementation of a new platform, and then also updating the data book standard operating procedures, the training materials, and then the oversight of the branding for the launch of the new site. So this project is again currently led by our research systems administrator, Kale Hannes. He will be working in close collaboration again with our procurement program. For this project, we also want to consult with our strategy and implementation PIA when we get to the development of this site. And then again, consult with our communications PIA for the launch of the new site. Our external partner for this project will be the vendor that's selected through our procurement process. And again, we're going to undertake the work to increase accessibility to data related to all of our MIMO strategic outcomes 1.1 through 8.3. And the redesign is also in alignment with our organizational goals 3 and 4, executing transformational programs and services aligned with OHA's mandate. In terms of community need, thank you. HRS 106A1 does require the board to continuously update our strategic plan, including A, the compilation of basic demographic data on Native Hawaiians and Hawaiians. Our data book addresses this mandate by providing the critical statistical, demographic, cultural, and historical data on Native Hawaiians and on Hawaii. Although the data book does currently hold a vast number of related data tables, at this point I think we're over 600 data tables, which includes hundreds of separate data points. The website does require a redesign, excuse me, to enhance user experience, improve functionality, ensure accessibility, and then provide for future scalability. The new site is intended to be user-friendly, visually engaging, and mobile responsive. So for our implementation strategy, thank you. We first consulted with our procurement program, and the RFP process was recommended to procure the highest quality vendor for this work. This process will include our procurement program, overseeing compliance related to the procurement code, contracting, ethics considerations, and all other procurement-related policies. R&E will select the evaluation committee to evaluate the proposals, and our research systems program will act as contract administrator. Once the proposals have all been evaluated, the vendor will be selected and they will complete the scope of work in close collaboration with R&E. The final platform will be presented to the administration and to the board. Based on feedback from the board during R&E's budget briefing, we did front load this budget so that the work could be sped up a little bit faster, because we do know it is a high priority for our trustees. So in the fiscal 26 budget, you'll see an appropriation of $225,000, and then in 27 to finish up the work, the $75,000. We've suggested in our scope one upfront payment, and then the following payments based on OHA approval of each deliverable. Staffing is going to include another new position. It's going to be our new Native Hawaiian Data Systems Administrator. Once they are recruited, hired, and onboarded, they will continue to be supported by Kale as their manager and myself as the director, and of course, continued support from our procurement team. For our timeline, in quarter one, R&E started the procurement process by drafting our scope to be included in the RFP. Currently, procurement is drafting the RFP to post publicly. Once we receive the proposals, our evaluation committee will make the selection of the best vendor for the work, and then we hope to execute by the end of Q2 or beginning of Q3. Based on the proposal selected, we anticipate development and launch to be completed by Q1 or Q2 of fiscal 27, and to receive the post-launch technical support through the end of Q4. At that point, we'll assess the contract outcomes and close the work. The work will then be handed off or fully handed off to our new Native Hawaiian Data Systems Administrator for their operational work. And so that position will continue with the continuous updating of the data book based on the new data releases and performing the necessary systems updates. And then just to share a little bit more about the details of the scope of the project, we've broken the work into 6 phases, and that'll start with the assessment of our current data book and the related project plan development. So that phase is where we're going to include the consultation with stakeholders and users and the development of the detailed plan to be based on their input, including new features like dashboards, data visualization, or data storytelling, all of the technical and content management system requirements, and then the information for necessary architecture and the content migration plan. During these consultations, we'd love to ask the Board of Trustees if they're interested to make the time to provide some input on the platform to make sure that our final product, our final platform, will meet the needs of our trustees as well. The second phase is going to be our website design, which includes developing the wireframes, prototypes, incorporating responsive digital functionality. So we're going to be optimized for not only desktop, but tablet and mobile as well. And then oversight of the update, branding, and alignment and consultation with our comms PIA. Next, the website will be developed with all the featured functions, tools, including security, query function, interactive data visualizations, and then the secure user document download capabilities. The content management interface will also be developed so that staff updates can take place efficiently, and then our analytics will be installed so that we can track all the traffic on the site, so we can analyze and report up the use of the new platform as well. Of course, we'll expect that the vendor's work will be in compliance with all federal, state security data standards. And then at the final point, the existing data sets and content will be migrated to the new platform. The fourth phase is going to be our testing and quality assurance, which includes testing on a variety of browsers and different devices, ensuring accessibility and usability with sample users. Security and performance will also be tested at that time prior to the launch. Additionally, we proposed in our scope to include staff training and full documentation so that our research system program will be empowered with the internal capabilities to continue to manage the content, upload all new data sets, and use the new tools. We are asking for all of the technical documentation, the standard operating procedures, the user manuals, and then training videos as well. In the final stage, it's going to be our launch and our post-launch support, which will begin with a presentation of the platform to administration and to the board. And then in coordination with our communications team, we'll go live to the public. As I mentioned, we've also added to the scope the post-launch technical support. So then if any issues arise after we launch, we'll still have access to the vendor support services. So our next steps, if everything looks okay for the board in our scope, We're going to be working with procurement to go ahead and post that RFP publicly. We'll select our evaluation committee, and that committee will evaluate the proposals and select the best vendor for the work. And again, of course, we're going to be moving forward with the recruitment, hiring, onboarding of our new Native Hawaiian Data Systems Administrator, who's going to be overseeing that work. And the only risk that we've identified that may delay this work would include any unforeseen delays in our procurement or hiring process. And then again, the next steps for the board are just to provide any feedback or input on the scope that we've outlined here, and then we'll roll that into the RFP before we post publicly. As I mentioned, we're also asking for this one if the board would be able to provide some time during the user consultation in phase 1, and then again, participate in the presentation of the platform in phase 6. Any questions or feedback on this project?
Yeah. Trustees, any discussion, any questions? This is inquiry, but this type of work is specialized. Is the RFP go global? Are we able to, in this day and age, work virtually with vendors around the world?
I believe we can, but they do have to be compliant to operate in Hawaii.
Sure.
Yeah.
So conversely, do we have any Native Hawaiian companies that do this type of work?
We do have companies in Hawaii. I think it would depend on how we're defining a Native Hawaiian company, but they're definitely prioritized in our procurement process.
Sure, I understand.
Yeah.
All things being equal, we want to think Kanaka.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Trustee, any other questions? No? All right. Mahalo. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Collie, you're beefing up, bro. Looks like you get your own pie going on pretty soon.
I'm ready.
You ready? All right. That's the right answer. Okay. Let's move on. And lastly, to item A4. Ka hakaʻula o Keʻelikōlani Hawaiian Language College at the University of Hawaiʻi Hilo program funding. Oh, okay. Hi. Please introduce yourself. Of course, we know who you are, but.
Aloha nui ʻoukou e nā kahuwaiwai o ʻoha me nā limahana a me nā poʻe like ʻole e kākoʻo ana I kēia papahana o ko kākou lāhui Hawaiʻi. Aloha nui ʻoukou a pau. Kaʻiu Kimura, I'm the director here at the College of Hawaiian Language, ka hakaʻula o Keʻelikōlani at UH Hilo. Myself, along with a colleague, Kanani Kawaiʻaia Makaʻimoku, join you this morning to just express our deep appreciation and gratitude for the support from OHA. You know, I recognize that it's interesting, right, that our origins in 1978, where OHA was established and also where the Hawaiian language was made our official language of the Aina, recognized by the state of Hawaii, was a significant year. And that genesis of our Pilina rings strong through till today. Since then, right, we've been able to establish collectively across our Pai'aina a comprehensive Hawaiian medium education pathway spanning from preschool now all the way through to PhD here at UH Hilo, and that's solely focused on bringing our language back to a normal, living, thriving, adapting language of the land once again, and back in our homes. So we just express our gratitude for the continued support. I've asked Kanani to join me today just to share a little bit about what the support being provided from OHA will do for the through the college, I should say, for our Hawaiian language and our Hawaiian speaking communities. Kanani is a professor here at ʻUla, and she is also the chair and coordinator of Kahua Viola, which is our teacher certification program, preparing educators to go out into our classrooms, makokau, to teach through ʻŌlelo Hawaii across all the various content and grades that are in our immersion and medium school environments. But also just want to share, and I don't think she's just going to roll her eyes, but Kanani is one of the first graduates of the Punana Leo back in the 80s. And she's also continued on and is one of the first graduates from 12th grade from Nawahi Okulani Opu'u And she's continued her education here at ʻUla through Hawaiian and is currently working on her PhD. And so I just wanted to bring her into the conversation and have her share from her unique experiences as a haumana, watching her mom and her aunties and uncles push our ʻŌlelo Hawaii forward, and now being one of the pillars that is helping to prepare generations, future generations to continue on through our ʻŌlelo Hawaii. So, Kanani, can you share about Ko'oweola?
Hi, aloha nui kako, aloha kakahiaka. Thank you for that introduction, Ka'u. I think as a graduate and product of Hawaiian medium education, I know firsthand and seen firsthand the impact that a program like Kulakaiapuni and Ahapunana Leo preschools have on our communities and has had on ʻŌlelo Hawaii, especially growing up as a keiki, one of, I think they estimated under 32 keiki when I was 4 that spoke Hawaiian, and now looking at over 4,000 students in our Kulakaiapuni schools and in our Punana Leo preschools. In the past decade, as you've probably read in our proposal, the demand for Hawaiian medium education has increased by over 64%. And that was the number in our last proposal, but we recently received new numbers from the Department of Education, and we now have 33 kulakaiapuni across our state. And so now that 64% need has grown more, and these are brand new programs. And so with every year, they need a new kumu. And as we know, the expertise that a kumu needs in Hawaiian medium education are all the expertise of any kumu, but above that is also ʻŌlelo Hawaii, and being able to ʻŌlelo Hawaii in all different contexts through grade levels from P to 12, the whole spectrum. And then also, I think our graduates are also strong change agents for their communities because they lead ohana in their schools. And for many of them, they're the expert in their community. For some, they may be the only one on the island because we have a graduate in Lanai as well that is the expert for ʻŌlelo Hawaii. And so there's a dependency on our graduates to malama, to educate, and to elevate ʻŌlelo Hawaii in their classrooms as well as their communities. We serve students statewide, and so we provide support to them by going to them. And each student has at least 2 mentors. And we know that providing that support to students while they're in the teaching program makes them stay in the work field. And that's what we're investing in. We're investing in preparing and developing these kumu so well that they can handle when they become kumu and they stay for the long run. And so we have 88% that are still teaching in their fields. And so I think that's a big number when we compare, our state numbers is 51%. We need to hoʻikaika on that part. But through the generosity of you folks sharing your support, especially the financial support, you're filling a gap that hasn't been filled yet. And that gap is providing that financial support to students from their very first year in Papa'olelo, Hawaii. Because our program is a graduate certificate program to ensure that students have that language and culture, knowledge, perspective, foundation already pa'a before they come and learn about how to be a kumu. And so that support that you're providing provides that support from the very first year. Someone starting in first year of Papa'olelo, Hawaii, all the way through graduate from our graduate program. That's the type of support that you're providing. You're also allowing us to expand our support so we can start supporting from the undergraduate first year of Papa'olelo, Hawaii, to inspire them, to draw them in, to get them to talk about it and get other friends excited to bring more people in. And so we're very hopeful that through this support, we can expand our kako'o. We can have more kumu prepared for Hawaiian medium education, that we can fill that need of over 60%. And we can also have kumu who are highly qualified and licensed, because right now in our current Kaiapuni positions, about 40% are unlicensed. And so you're really filling that need, and mahalo nui, mahalo nui.
And I'll just add, in addition to training and preparing people to be in the classrooms, Kahaka ʻUla also has Halekua Mo'o, which is our Hawaiian Language Curriculum Resource Center, helped by the legislature in 1989 to establish that. We have a mandate to develop and provide instructional material, curriculum, training, resources to support the classroom, but not only the classroom, also our families and other sectors in our community. And so Halekua Mo'o has been busy since its inception, has built over 500,000 different types of resources that are now distributed out throughout our Pai'aina. And so the support that you have approved for us to continue Halekua Mo'o's work will specifically focus in on our lexicon development. As time moves on, new words, new concepts, new technologies are developed. And in order for our language to be thriving and living and renormalized, we also have to pace with the changes of the world around us. And so the Lexicon Committee that was established will be reconvening. And I'm very proud to say they're going to be reconvening in November. It's led by Larry Kimura. And so we're very excited to get that back up and running. We have over 10,000 words that have been sent to us from our schools, from our families, from communities, asking for how do we say this in ʻŌlelo Hawaii. And so we're going to pick that list back up and start to work with members of the Lexicon Committee that come from across the Pai'aina. We'll reconvene them through your support and continue that important work of growing our lexicon to support our curriculum and to support resources that are needed for our Hawaiian speaking communities. So we just nui ka mahalo ia oko and nui ko mākou hauʻoli I ka hiki ke hoʻomau I ka hanapu me oko he kahua ka ʻŌlelo e kui kaika ai ka lāhui. Our language serves as that foundation which strengthens our lāhui both in Hawaii and then also helps us to develop amazing relationships around the world, whether through Polynesia and our cousins that exist or through other native language communities around the world. Hawaii is actively participating in not just progressing our language, but helping other indigenous languages progress as well. But mahalo ho, because again, your support will help us specifically continue to strengthen our own ʻŌlelo in its own kulaiwi. No leila, mahalo nui iā ʻoukou. I also wanted to express we look forward to welcoming you to Hale ʻŌlelo at your November board meeting. We're very excited to be able to host you here, as well as some of the community discussions that you'll be having. So noa keia hale iā ʻoukou, no ʻoukou ka hale. We look forward to seeing you all in person next month. Oia elo no, mahalo nui. He mauni nau?
Very good. Yeah. Kule, you got something you want to add, or you just wanted to support? You're sitting there. Yeah. Did you want to add something?
So I don't have to re-go over all the things that they went over, because part of what I was going to share was just about Kahaka ʻUla and Kohua Waiola and Halekua Mo'o. So skipping through all of that part, in terms of us being able to get them the funds that they need to implement all the wonderful things that they're doing, we got a very wonderful and detailed budget outlined from Kahaka ʻUla, so that we can understand where each of the buckets of funds are going to go to. Because in the 310,000 per fiscal year that they got, 200 was for Kohua Waiola, and then the rest was for Halekua Mo'o. So they've already sent over the details of what they want to do with each of those buckets, and it's in alignment with the proviso language that was set forth by the budget. So I drafted an MOA with the information that they sent over, and they need time and opportunity to review it. OHA also has to take time to review it, but as soon as all of those things are done, then potentially we could get the funds to them, as soon as that process is complete. So we're rolling, and as quickly as we can execute the agreement, then the funds can be deployed.
Okay. So we're in the process. We're okay.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Trustees, any questions or comments? No, nothing? Kaio, Kanani, please
Mahalo.
aloha to Larry and to Kawanoi and to Pila and everybody else on the line over there, okay? And we look forward to seeing you
Hiki
folks.
no. Yes,
Yeah.
same here. Hiki
Because
no,
we wanna
mahalo nui.
Perhaps in one of your classes as a future trustee. You know, that's how we fly. Okay, thank you so much.
Okay.
Aloha.
Mahalo nui.
Mahalo.
Aloha.
Aloha. Aloha, Trustee Lindsay. Aloha. Okay, this is good. Appreciate it. Next on the agenda, I've been informed, is the executive session. I've been informed that the September 17th executive session minutes are not completed, and therefore we will be taking no action on that item at this time. Okay, members, additionally, we received notice this morning that there is no update on Papahānaumokuākea Marine National Monument and Sanctuary. Okay, therefore we will be tabling that matter as well. Okay. Let's move on to, yes.
Any objections?
Do we have any objections, members? None? Hearing none. Let's move to community concerns and celebrations. Members, does anyone have any announcements or, I'm sorry, community concerns, celebrations? Leanne, anybody that we need to go to?
Nope, no one signed up.
All right. Announcements, members, anyone have announcements? Oh. All right.
Just really quick, I would like to extend a huge mahalo to everyone who helped coordinate Monday's event, our meet and greet. That was amazing. I loved and enjoyed meeting with some of our legislators. Looking forward to the rest of those who aren't able to make it to this one. Maybe they'll come to the next one. I think it was November 12th. So excellent. And we got a lot of rave reviews from those who did attend. And I think that we should do this more often. It's good to connect with our legislators. Mahalo.
Thank you.
Chair.
All right. Yes, Trustee Alberta.
I just want to say that I've been in the meeting through the whole time, but for some reason I wasn't on the face. You know.
Were you able to access the meeting though?
Yeah. So I
Okay.
wanted to say that I have been present, but for some reason I couldn't get my face onto the I guess your TV.
Yeah. Okay.
Can you see me now? I'm
I
just
can see
curious.
you. Yep, see you now.
Oh
Nice
my
smile.
goodness. Okay. Well, I just want to say that I want to be ready for the next meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Trustee Alberta. Yeah, we're gonna follow up with IT on that. Okay.
Thank
So,
you.
mahalo to our administrative staff and members of this committee for your participation here today. I do know that Trustee Alapa, our board baker, made some goodies, so we can access that as soon as we adjourn. And then your committee meeting is at 11 o'clock? 11 o'clock, okay. There being no further business, may I have a motion to adjourn? Okay. Let me see. Roll call, please.
Trustee Ahuna is excused. And Vice Chair Haka.
Aye.
Trustee Akina.
Aye.
Trustee Alapa. Trustee Kahele. Trustee Lindsay.
Aye.
Trustee Souza.
Aye.
Trustee Waihe'e.
Yes.
Chair Galutaria.
Aye.
Of 8 yes votes.
Okay, it's 10:06, 1 hour. And your committee on BAE is now adjourned.